So I've started a couple of estate agencies over the years and I'm about to help others set up their own estate agency business across the UK with EXP. What I learned and what I will pass on to those agents who I'm going to be working with is that the first few days, weeks and months is all about hustling. And hustling is all about getting in people's faces, letting them know you're there consistently. That's the most important word. And one way to do that is by prospecting or canvassing, or the slightly dirtier word of touting. Good old-fashioned estate agency is still not dead. It was how I set up my last two estate agency businesses and will be the way that I start up again when I set up on my own in the future. Now I might get I've had a few pelters from other estate agents for suggesting to go out and touting their properties, but I don't understand what those agents are scared of. If they're servicing their clients properly, their clients won't think of going to another agent anyway. For me, estate agency is one of the only industries where you actually know that someone needs your product or service and you can interrupt the consumer before they've sold their house potentially. Those consumers might need a different strategy, a different approach, different advice. And that's what you should be providing as a value add to convince them to instruct you when their contract runs out with their original agent. I saw a report recently, I'm sure you've seen it as well, that 60%, it's thought that 60% of sellers go on to sell with a second agent. So even more reason to get in front of them. I've spoken to a lot of agents over the last couple of years and I've heard a lot of agents saying they don't adopt this simple marketing strategy, but I don't understand what's stopping you from getting in front of those sellers who've been sitting on the market for 8, 10, 12, 15 weeks. I think there's probably three reasons. The first is that it takes up time to identify the addresses and the time doesn't warrant a return. Now, it can be the case that it takes up time, but from my experience, the return is justified. As long as you're consistent and giving the consumer value, you will get frustrated sellers contacting you. Nowadays, also, you don't have to do it manually. There are lots of tools out there that are able to cut this time down hugely with automated prospecting. That's something that we actually offer at EXP. We're working with some of those guys to allow our agents to benefit from prospecting automatically to help agents get their business started. The second reason agents don't do it is fear. Fear of the customer calling up and giving the agent an earful. Well, all I can say to this is just don't worry about it. I mean, how many times have you seen an advert on Facebook and you've called that advertiser and said, and shouted down the phone at them? Never. And that's exactly what 99% of people do when they receive your direct mail. They either bin it or they contact you. There's probably only 1% that are going to give you any grief. The third is other agents frowning upon it. Now I hear some agents say they don't want to do it because they're competitors to their competitors because they have a friendly market. But that's just mental. You're not in business to work for the other agents by not challenging the service that their client is receiving or challenging the different marketing strategy that might help them to sell their house that you offer. Guess what happened when we started canvassing, when we started Hatched in our local area? It actually made other agents sit up and take note, and they started to lose business because they weren't doing floor plans. All of a sudden, the agents in the local area all offered floor plans. That to me is an improvement in the consumer experience, and we should all be driving for that, striving for that. So if you've got a unique product or service and you have to educate the customer about what's going on, the best way to do that is by canvassing, prospecting, touting. And by the way, this isn't a low-level marketing strategy. I've been getting direct mail from Virgin while I've been a Sky customer, and eventually it worked. I actually went over to Virgin. So it's not a low-level strategy. So if you're thinking of starting out or have just started out an estate agency, you've got to hustle. And that means getting in front of people who might want or need your service. To find out how EXP can help you start up your own estate agency and how we can help you with that prospecting, click the link below or keep an eye out for the next video where we're going to give you some more strategies on how to build your estate agency business quickly. Speak to you soon.